As the Utah Jazz celebrate Women's History Month, we get to know co-owner Ashley Smith. Smith is one of the few female owners in the NBA, and she details how a busy career as an entrepreneur helped set her and her husband Ryan Smith up for a game-changing venture in Utah.
We are here with co-owner of the Utah Jazz, Ashley Smith. Did you know she is also a very successful entrepreneur and businesswoman of one of the biggest dance studios in Utah?
Welcome to Smash Dance Academy.
We are in this beautiful dance studio, one of the most successful in Utah. How cool is this?
So cool. Welcome to my happy place. I love this building and I love what I feel when I'm here, and we are trying, my staff and I, to create an environment where youth feel the same thing and they get to come here and feel safe and loved and feel empowered to grow and fail and be a better version of themselves every time they come.
Okay, let's take a look around. I think this is such a heartbeat and hub of the whole dance studio. Tell us, why is this important, that these are the goals of when you step in the doors?
So we developed these as we learned what we think youth need to be learning as they grow into awesome adults. So to us, it's important that we are teaching with these skills and that we are learning with these skills and that we are teaching how to use these skills and highlighting moments where we do it right or maybe do it wrong. So at Smash, we are empowered and we are hardworking and we are respectful and we are introspective and transparent. And together, that helps us eliminate the drama from our studio and our classrooms.
It's so beautiful. I love it. It's a feeling that you are building here. You know, we call it culture sometimes, but the culture of what you're trying to build.
Yes, very much a culture, and it's kind of working. And we all want to be here all the time, so it's special. It's special in a good way to connect us by wanting to all grow together in these ways.
I just wish we could just dance right now, but
Let's do it.
How are you empowering young people and people of all ages really in this beautiful space?
I think we need space to use our bodies to evoke. That's kind of the idea, is that youth are managing, there's so much change happening in the life of any child or youth that changes so fast, and that they can come here and use space and use their body and move and release and feel and understand what's maybe actually happening in their brains sometimes. So yeah, we tried to create an environment that had a lot of light and that it's open and it's free for movement and expression. Dance is for sure my passion. I grew up dancing, and my mom really raised me to love the arts in general, and I really honed in on dance, ballet in particular, but I did all types. And that is how I coped as a youth. So it was a really safe place for me, and although the dance world back then was pretty toxic, I was excited about maybe figuring out a non-toxic version of that. And Ryan was a big champion. So at some point he encouraged me to kind of start teaching in the basement, little girls from the neighborhood. And I don't think either of us ever expected I would do it longer than a couple of years, but it is very fulfilling and it's a blast.
There's a fun parallel between you and your husband. I just have this vision of he and his father starting Qualtrics in his dad's basement, and you are teaching dance in your basement, in your neighborhood. How entrepreneurial and passionate and cool is this that you both have been kind of building this dream together?
It's so cool, and it's who we are together. It's what drew us to each other, I think, originally, is just our drive for growth and trying new things and making things better and more exciting. We both enjoy a good experience and we like to provide good experiences. So I think in our own ways, we just wanted to kind of do our thing. And it is funny that we were both in basements and grinding and learning hard lessons. And I think we're just really thankful for those days of the basement and the struggle and the fight and disappointment and failure and all of that, because that's kind of who we became. That's how we became us together, is fighting all the friction of building things in our basements. So yeah, it's a really cool part of our story and a lot of who we are.
What was the hurdle that you had to face, or a moment that you had to be brave to kind of get to the next thing?
Yeah, I mean, right out of the gate, starting it took a lot. I had a lot of fear. And I had to have some moments of figuring out who I was, and if I was confident enough in my skill and my knowledge to go start teaching others. So it was a huge process of me figuring out how to like me, and me learning what I'm good at, and then maybe diving into things that I'm not good at. So a lot of it has been me figuring out my self-worth. And that is for sure the biggest hurdle of starting anything, of doing anything that we're scared of being brave. You can't be brave if there's no confidence anywhere that you're gonna maybe succeed, or you can't be brave if you're not confident enough to fail. So it was just, that was really, really the time of my life where I had to figure out who I was and if I liked that person. And I had to develop a love for that person. So I think for all women, where we're in this world and we're being told what we're supposed to do and supposed to look like and supposed to talk like and supposed to execute and all the things, when actually, like, we just need to figure out what's inside and if we like it. And then if you want to improve it, great, you get to go. And if you want to dive in on it, on the things you're good at, great, go, grow, make it better. But it's that hurdle for women that's really hard, because the world is telling us you're not good enough. And we're telling ourselves you're not good enough. And so I think it's getting over that that's really hard, and such a rad part of Utah that everyone's entrepreneurial here. It's such a growth-minded place. But I love it that we've got a lot of women trying to fight that fight and love ourselves and go do brave, hard things.
How has Ashley impacted your life and your family's life?
She's the hardest worker I know. She's up before me and she goes to bed after me every single day. And it's crazy. No matter how late the game is, she's up working out at 5:30 every morning. And then she goes kids, and then, you know, she's created the dance studio. And she doesn't run away from anything that's hard. And I think for me, who likes to take on big things as well, having someone sitting next to me is funny. Walker asked me this: what do you see, like marriage? What's the best quality? And I was like, let me tell you about Ash. We're riding side by side. We're riding as co-captain. Think she's in the sidecar or she's driving and I'm in the sidecar. She is not just sitting there along for the ride. She's got the map out. She's pointing like, this is when you should stop, or this is what you should do. I think that she's really broadened the thought of like leadership in the family. Her desire to learn, her desire to improve, her desire to grow has actually taught me, like, what am I reading? What am I doing? Why aren't I up early? Like, it's pushed me. And I think that's the one thing about Ash since the second I met her, was she motivates me.
How important is your partnership as co-owners of the Utah Jazz?
I mean, it's important in everything, right? It's not just with the Jazz. I think the Jazz are a unique thing that we've been able to do together. But Ash has been that in everything we've done, you know, from the time we met in college to both being in the business school together and me looking over and be like, you're way smarter than I am and everything. And then like also how, you know, it's one of our values, but Ashley's like the most scrappy person I know when it comes to, it's part of her upbringing. It's just like fixing things and like tech. I mean, she runs the Apple account for the house. It's pretty awesome to be able to go work with her.
It's one thing to be a co-owner of the Jazz, but you look at this as a bigger mission. What's the bigger mission for being a co-owner of the Utah Jazz?
Yeah, when we were making this decision, Ryan and I had some very hard conversations as we talked about taking on this stewardship and the sacrifices that would be involved and the magnifying glass that would come into our lives. And it was not an easy decision. But the final moments of us deciding, okay, we want to step into this stewardship role, were at our kitchen table and a lot of tears, and it was literally the middle of the night, and us deciding that it was way bigger than basketball. And I was very clear in that if this is about it being an owner in the NBA, I'm out. Because as cool as that sounds, I'm not interested. And he agreed. And so it was that common ground that got us to this place of, okay, we get to have this cool, rad thing we love together, but we get to go take it to do good and to connect and to hear people's voices and see them and love people and learn from people and connect our whole state and just love. So when it became about that, it was super clear. And it's kind of similar to when we know who we are, we can do brave things. Because Ryan and I, at the end of the day, know that's what we want to do, it makes every hard decision easier.
I think having a perspective of a woman is it's like invaluable. But if you actually think about it, like let's say it's half the demographics of the planet. Like, and if you go to any university and, you know, half the entrants, half the valedictorians, half the intelligent is there, and then you go back to the way we operate, it's pretty bad. And honestly, I want my daughters to be able to look up and say there's nothing I can't go do, and I don't need to compromise who I am, how my career, my life, my family works. And I think that how do we make that happen? How do we make it easy? How do we make it so it's at least a 50-50 decision if someone wants to go rise in this or be successful in this part of their life? And I think that's my goal with the organizations that I'm a part of. Make it 50-50.
What example do you want to set for other women that being a part of this big kind of male-dominated business is good, and we need more people like that?
We need all voices. We need all voices in every room. So if I get to be a female voice in a room of male-dominated sports, I want to be there. And I deserve to be there. And I think my voice is valuable. And I think I've had to work hard to believe that. So figure out what you believe and what you want to share and where's the room that you need to be in to share it. Because we all have a different perspective, whether it's our gender, whether it's our ethnicity, or how we were raised, or how many siblings we have. It doesn't matter what makes us all different. We have a different voice to bring. So where's your strength and where's your voice going to be helpful? Go be in that room. And that's all I'm trying to do. And remember that your voice is important and needed somewhere. So figure it out and go.